in this matchup. I really would love to see EG fix whatever's going on. We have seen some better performances from them lately, so we know it's possible for them to short things up a little bit here. And still theme park available. Nope, there it goes. All right. Could see Kafe again, possibly.
The third time
and we will.
today.
All right, well, this is a much better map for SSG. They've played it many times. They've won it or drawn it every time, whereas EG have lost it every time. But to be fair, they've lost pretty much every match they've played this season for the most part, so that's not a surprise in and of itself, but it is a good map for SSG. But then again, there's not a lot that aren't.
Yeah, actually, if I'm looking at the record here, okay, so the last time Evil Geniuses won something was April 2nd. Which this actually wasn't that long ago. That was against let me see here. That was against sorry, not April 2nd. Not April 2nd. It was January 7th. I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right. They lost to DZ, but they get really close to winning. Anyway, what do you guys think? Who's gonna win? About what you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that it's not actually as favored as TSM was in the last matchup, considering this should actually be even more unbalanced in a way, because E United wasn't exactly doing nearly as bad as EG was. So, I don't know.
I think we always talk about it's a bit of a popularity contest, right? And Evil Geniuses still have their fans, still have their diehards. Community vote done. Your opinion's heard. Let's go ahead and go into the match. Kafe, as we load on in, it'll be Evil Geniuses starting on defense, Spacestation starting on attack. We'll see what the bands show us here. Now, we have been, through today, the bands have been very different than usual. Like, way, way off the beaten path in terms of what we've been seeing recently. It'll probably be Capitao Thatcher here. That's my expectation for the attack. But then again, we've been seeing a lot of upsets on that front, so pinch of salt on that one. And going on to the defensive side, let's see. Definitely going to be a Cade ban or a Kaid ban. Possibly on the second one, there's a lot of actual options, but both of these teams banned Kaid on Kafe. It's been Space Station's staple ban, so they'll just get rid of it right off the gate. And it's probably, for Evil Geniuses, they got a lot of options. Really, they can't go wrong. I'm not going to predict this because it could be so many things. And yeah, there it is, the Mira ban. They'll stick to their guns on not letting Mira through.
Well,
I like how, the second Devin starts to want to talk, he disconnects again. Not on him. I assume this probably has something to do with internet and congestion or something along those lines. I was having the same problem earlier with my feed. It's been a weird day for internet, and it's tricky. It's tricky. We're doing the best that we can. We had like a 10-minute break earlier to try and sort things out. So I looked into it. I was like, okay, well, I want to call them and ask about it. Call my ISP, and then there was just no way to do that. I got to a wall. It's like, we're not accepting callbacks right now. And then there's okay, well, what about the chat? We're not accepting chat requests right now. So apparently it's a pretty widespread issue, and there's not a whole lot that can be done. Again, we're gonna do our darndest here with what we've got available to us and try to make the most of the situation. But again, it is something that affects not quite a lot of us. So we'll do our best here. Welcome back, Devin.
thank you.
So, getting into the match now. Let's see. It looks like it's a top 4 setup for Evil Geniuses.
10 seconds left.
Nothing too crazy on the operator selection.
No, definitely nothing. This is the first round. Everyone's just trying to feel things out. The Goyo, definitely going to be useful, but not bringing in a Wamai, especially on a top floor defense, always seems like a waste if you're bringing Goyo, especially because he brings an extra shield in and of himself. It's usually worth it. I like the bulletproof camera, though, coming out from EG on, in addition to the Evil Eyes that you're going to get from Maestro. So they'll definitely give them a lot of extra intel. They will at least have an IQ to spot those, though.
Yeah, the IQ is going to be really potent on this map. But of course, with the Thatcher being banned, you lose one leg there in that kind of equation where you can, Thatcher trick from the roof and get rid of a bunch of gadgets on this floor if you've got the IQ to target the gadgets. And without the Thatcher, well, you can't actually do that. So, I mean, it's still going to be a really powerful operator to have, but IQ could be so much better on this map if only somebody didn't ban the Thatcher.
It certainly happens a lot.
It has happened every single one of our Kafe games today. And it makes for some interesting gameplay.
Even on the non-Kafe games today.
Really? Was it also on the... Oh, yeah, it was. Huh. All right. Thatcher ban meta, strong, firm in its resolve. all teams committed to it.
Ain't no one gonna be throwing no EMPs in this game.
No, sir. Not today. Possibly some other day, but not right now. Spades is going to get the first kill onto Thinking. There goes your air jabs, hopefully for SSG. They're already placed. Spades going for another fight there, but the pillars are going to deny him the kill. Kind of disheartening to see. Definitely a great lineup there from Spades, but unfortunately the pillars are not penetrable.
Well, an early kill onto the Nomad will definitely benefit this ability to rotate around now for Spades, because now there'll be less air jabs to worry about. So the stairs themselves especially going to be juicy for possible rotations. Spades does take a bit of damage, but at least survives.
The nade landed right on top of him. That was a nade, right? C4 goes out. Spades gets Bosco, so second kill there for Spades. And yeah, it was a nade. It was one of Rampy's nades, I assume. Yeah. I guess it must have gone into the cupboard. You could see the explosive residue, though. That's so weird to look at. Like, I'm not used to that. This different fragmentation system is awkward sometimes. And SSG find themselves a man down because that nade did not kill the intended target. Buck doing some work here by Cocktail. Rampy's going to get his second kill. Nade goes out towards White Hallway. This actually could net a kill if landed correctly. It will not. But a well-played nade there. Well-read situation from Rampy. Not much time here, but Fultz will get one in White Hallway. Necrox loses his fight out. Young and NVK tasked with a 2v2 as Young equalizes. Shotgun will get Young through the wall. So triple kill for Rampy, and Fultz gets his second. SSG clean up shop, despite having a disadvantage for the majority of that round.
Well, SSG, you would expect to win that, but that was definitely a tough one. This is going to be some interesting back and forth, I think. I hope, again, to see EG really be able to play to their best level here. They're on defense first, and we did see how defensive-sided this map can be today with the Thatcher ban. So we'll see it. Kitchen might be a different story, though, because this is one that can really benefit a lot from the Kaid Electroclaw, or the Kaid. And he will be banned, so he will not be available to help with this Kitchen defense. And that should make things a little bit easier on the attack. There will be the mute to deny a little bit of droning, but there won't be the Mozzie in combination with him. Castle as well to try and help things out. And Young on the dock, something I don't think we see too often. Nope, Spade's actually going to switch off the castle. So they're going to go for a little bit more roam. See if that works out with the top floor.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Going to be tricky. I assume that's where he's going to be roaming, is upstairs a little bit more.
Probably, based on the fact that we're going to the kitchen. I mean, you got to delay at least a little bit upstairs. It's very important. Based on this loadout, yeah, I mean, it'll be Spades, probably. Possibly even Mo as well. We've seen some Valkyrie roaming. I mean, the thing about Valkyrie roaming is, like, as soon as you get those cameras down, why not roam? C4 from below is great and all, but
10 seconds left.
Yeah.
you do a lot of work potentially on the roam, and the MPX, while it's not good at range, if you play your roam correctly, you don't necessarily have to worry about that. Plus, again, it's really a head shotgun, so there you go.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Yeah, well, might as well. See if this roam will work out. Doc on the roam is always a bit risky. He does have a bulletproof camera setup, so at least he's got some utility deployed if he dies. But we'll see if he can manage to stall things out a little bit. At least the upside of being a roaming Doc, of course, is if you don't get headshot, you can survive an engagement, go back and heal yourself. Claymores, of course, definitely a necessity on this map because of the amount of jump outs you see. Especially with a Valkyrie in play.
Clear from SSG straight on into Bakery, successful. Nobody really playing here for Evil Geniuses. Playing very passive on this bomb site. We've seen this kind of setup before in the past from the defenders. Interesting thing about this one is that there's not a lot of presence upstairs for EG right now. It means that, I mean, they've got two players, but no one directly above where you'd expect them to be. Got one roamer over by White Stairs. He's rotating around. And then, okay, Jaeger has worked his way over to train. So we've got the establishment that EG need above the bomb site in order to have success on this setup. That's a really dangerous play from the Vigil. He'll be caught by the IQ. Bosco seeing his prey. He'll drop. No, he's just gonna prone and wait it out. There goes Young. Doc in the site. Actually, 3 roamers, I want to say, upstairs right now for Evil Geniuses. It looks like no, maybe just 2. It's hard to see through the outlines. Yeah, MVK will rotate back. It's all on Spades. He's left alone. And he's not droned out by Bosco. Oh, there it is. The information gathered, and Bosco will get the kills. Spades peeks wide. SSG racking up a serious man advantage. Wall opened up into the site thanks to Maverick tricking the wall. Mo will get thinking aid, though. So your Nomad gone once again before he's able to really do anything. Hopefully there's an air jab on the flank for SSG. Nade detonates and doesn't get anything. Necrox eliminated as he attempted to push into prep. It's all on Mo and MVK to line up the shots inside of the bomb site. Marked out. NVK will try to prone. Actually, it's Mo attempting to cross. NVK, meanwhile, dies. It's all on Mo now to get an ace, actually. He's the only one with kills on his team. There's a triple kill. Got a good chance at actually taking this now. Information from his own cameras. Can deny this, but oh, Bosco's just better. Lining up the shot, and SSG will take another round, executing into kitchen.
Well, unfortunately for EG, they weren't able to really be as effective on the roam as they were hoping for, and that ultimately just cost them manpower on the site. They weren't able to get back safely. Because of that, well, they cost them pretty dearly. Mo Digga, though, putting up a great effort, getting the 3K, getting the only kills for his team that round. Also, killing Thinking Nate first. Of course, he's well known to be that solid flank watch. Not only that, but he's playing flank watch operator. And taking him out early does give him some freedom to move. But at the same time, there's so many players left on SSG. What were you going to do from that? He kills 3 and still has to worry about the fact that he's got to fight the last one. And the upside, when it comes down to a 1v2, one of them was planting. Only problem was the shelving unit was blocking his line of sight. I liked all the marks coming out, though, from his teammates, those bulletproof cameras and things like that, providing extra intel so that he was at least able to try and clutch. But yeah, you don't want to have to ace clutch there. Just SSG seeming to just be really good on executing on that kitchen attack when they can get that early advantage. Roam clear, of course, really paying off for them. And time management wasn't so much of an issue for SSG that round, I don't think. See how it goes on this bar attack again.
Spacestation winning 2 attack rounds means that they've effectively got I'd say not a win necessarily on the attacking side so far, but more like, I guess you could say they're safe, right? If SSG throws every round from here on out, then they're in an okay position.
Well, hopefully bar will work for them because, yeah, this is defender-sided meta right now, especially with the bans in this map. So it is surprising to see SSG be able to do so well in those 2 attacks. But again, EG have been struggling, so maybe this will be their comeback moment here on bar. They've got a lot of shields set up, a lot of defense. They've got the Maestros as well that have to be taken out. Mute jammers to slow things down, so they've got some utility to do this. They just need to make sure they don't lose gunfights they don't need to take.
Slow droning here from Canadian, wary of a potential Mozzie. Spades will take down Fultz. Like a run out from the front door. The play from Spades over by the front door, the main lobby area, has been really successful. Managing to get all of his kills there, actually, as a Valkyrie. For more. It was a late camera to get information outside. It must have been heard by Bosco. And there he goes. So could he actually hear it destroyed? Almost perfect there from Canadian. I get the same. It's pretty much like the same. I barely just don't get it all. It looks like he has to do some trimming. It's that little bit that's stuck out there in the middle, but he's actually just going to go somewhere else.
Bomb located by attackers.
It's so hard to get it in one. Definitely requires some practice. Canadian, pretty close to the site with that diffuser. Getting ready to go in for a plant in all likelihood. A minute left here. Plenty of time for the setup. Canadian will take down Mo, who is peeking by Cocktail. That's a huge kill. That's your Maestro and Cocktail. That's the anchor point for your whole defense. ADS needs to be cleared. And it will be cleared by Canadian's nades. Now the Evil Eye can be dispatched if somebody else has an explosive. Rampy, in all likelihood, is the one who will try that. I think he just got it. Maverick tricking on the back bar storage wall. just piano control so far for SSG. No other real prong to this attack. MVK will take up Mo Digga's position. Maverick Trick is going very slowly here for SSG. EG's really reaping the benefits of a slow attack. There goes one of the Goyo shields in the back bar storage. Plant attempt here from Canadian. He's going to stick it. No denial so far. Rampy with great coverage. Here come the stuns to cover as well. And there's the post plant. EG now, real difficult spot to be in. Man disadvantage, and now they're the ones fighting the clock. There's the marks onto the Jaeger, trying to push up by the bar. Plenty of information on NVK, who is now the last defender, as everywhere else, his teammates are dying one after another. Free fires on the right angles here from MVK, but it's not going to net anything. And he'll die from above. It's the skylight angle. Unexpected for MVK. Easy win there for Rampy, and SSG will take the round.
Nicely done by SSG. Getting the plant down like that with still so many defenders left alive was impressive. Canadian managing to stick that down despite the difficulties of fighting all these players across the bar, and that's without smoke as well. So impressive attack. And so far, SSG just showing that no real slip-ups. Maybe a little bit of a rough start in the first round, but after that, it's just been all go, go, go for them in terms of getting these attacks going. And definitely, this is more like what we saw from Tempo Storm's attacks in that first match, where when they switched over to the attack side, very confident, very efficient. I mean, despite Canadian's slight hiccups in terms of getting the wall open, he's actually going to go with a different operator to do that this time. Maybe it'll be a little cleaner, although he still may end up with stragglers, little things like that where he's unable to get through them. It could be even more of a risk on Habana, so we'll see.
We will see indeed. Evil Geniuses setting up for a top floor roam. It is a middle floor defense. Progress that has been made here by SSG already. Again, say that 3-0 right now. I mean, that's winning the attacking half. Even if they don't win any more rounds at this point, you could say the Evil Geniuses are fighting back from a deficit. Not ideal.
Well, at least they brought up Wamai this time. I think maybe that'll be something that helps slow things down a little bit. In terms of, we saw a good clearing coming up from SSG. They've obviously practiced dealing with a lot of the utility, all those Goyo shields and whatnot. Although it is funny to now bring the Wamai, but not bring the Goyo. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, NVK needs to do some serious work with that Doc to make it worth bringing him versus the Goyo.
The Doc is the really interesting pick for me. But there's so many other options, yeah. Like you said, the Goyo is a great one. Castle. Really, I mean, you couldn't go wrong in the situation. With the operators that are banned, the Maestro, Echo. I don't know. But it's the decision that's been made. I am guessing it has something to do with wanting to take more gunfights. You know, the Doc can be really beneficial. If he's able to get all of his stims off, then he can keep your team in a round single-handedly. MVK will get Thinking Aid. There you go. Maybe it was the gun. And MVK is proving that it's worth it there just by getting rid of Thinking Aid. But I will say, Thinking Aid has been dying very early for SSG through most of these rounds. I don't even know if he's going to kill at this point.
I mean, his job is usually late flank watch. You're not expecting him to get early frags or anything like that. But it is good on EG that they're able to take him out early, because that means late rounds should be more beneficial. It's just SSG have kind of been not really needing him as much.
Yeah. They haven't been needing him as much, but he has just been dying before he could be needed, to be fair. So it's not been the best match for Thinking Aid, but that's the beauty of SSG, is that sometimes it's Thinking Aid who really like steps up and drops like 15 kills. Sometimes it's Canadian, sometimes Bosco, sometimes Pulse, sometimes Rampy. There's no one in particular that you're going to point a finger. I mean, there's obviously standouts on the average, but everyone can do it, and that's the main story here. So even if Thinking Aid's not having the best match, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's not going to affect their overall play. Rotation there from NVK. He'll go back to White Stairs. Probably the smart bet there.
Well, Necrox being down early does mean a C4 off the board, which is important for playing against the top floor control. But at Canadian, nice pick there. And he's, nicely done by Spades trading it out at least. But now the Doc is down again and didn't really achieve anything for the most part. So it's not really all that effective. I don't agree with it, but we'll see how this round goes down.
Main MVP, I have to say, so far for this round. Oh, nice prone position there from Modiga, but he doesn't win the fight. Sun goes out from False to try and disorient, and it'll result in Bosco winning his fight. Young now alone in a 1v3. He's got 2 very low opponents, though. This is definitely winnable. Going for a push. He hears the tap, tap, tap of that diffuser. Knows he needs to stop it. One by the fireplace. Here's the plant to the left, but he cannot swing, and Bosco will take that fight. SSG, another round, a 4-0 for the attack on Kafe.
Well, it's looking like we could see a bit of a sweep here. I mean, I definitely think there's a possibility we see EG maybe able to take a round or two, but just based off the way things have gone so far, I don't think SSG are going to falter on too many of these attack rounds. I mean, even with them losing Thinking Nade early in these rounds, it's not making that much of a difference. A lot seems to rely on players like Modiga and Spades. Again, players like NVK, I mean, I always have high expectations for NVK because he could be such a fantastic player. We saw, for example, him start to kind of slow down quite a bit in the late days of EG before Canadian left. Then once Canadian left, NVK started doing really well. And then, you know, as things shifted around, he's been kind of up and down now. And I expect a lot from him because I know he has that potential. He could be out there fragging out. But then again, this is against SSG, and they're such a strong team that maybe, you know, expectations shouldn't be set that high for him. I just would like to see him pick an operator then that does more by default and relies less on him hitting his shots.
I think that he's just trying to give that leeway to his teammates, and that's really important to keep in mind. We always talk about Modiga, who is probably one of the the standouts for Evil Geniuses. Not probably, he is. He's the standout for Evil Geniuses. Again, the only player on this roster through the season who's gone positive. And given that, I mean, you know, you have to keep in mind that he's also playing on the fragging operators. He's on Jaeger right now. I mean, he is the guy who plays those roles for his team where he's supposed to be getting the kills. So, yeah, you know, as much as I know, yeah, MVK can definitely be that guy. He's not playing that role right now. That's not the position he's in. So you have to keep that in mind while we watch this unfold.
Yeah, Modiga's definitely taken up that mantle. He does quite well at it. I think Modiga has definitely been a strong Jaeger roam player and things like that. But everyone around him is not being as effective, I think, as he needs for that support on that. I just would like to see a little bit more on that. At least they're bringing in a fair bit of utility here. Hopefully NVK's Castle Barricades will be helpful in giving them some roam freedom, especially in supporting Modiga, like I was talking about.
Oh. Going for an attack in through red. Standard stuff here. Evil Geniuses have decided to bring the Goyo this time. Spades takes down Thinking Nade. And
what a surprise.
What a surprise. There's the nade, though, as a response. So every time Thinking Nade dies, SSG gets that refrag. Whether
an Angel gets its wings.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Kill one Thinking Nade, 2 more shall take its place. In this case, it was a literal nade. Stun's going in, or actually, no, not a stun. Looks like something to get rid of the Evil Eye, possibly, or a bulletproof that had been placed deep inside a piano. Hole opened up into piano wall. Hopefully this time it is traversable. It is. Nade comes out there for Pixel Spot. That's going to get the shield if the ADS has been cleared. It has. Shield gone.
Activating drone.
Slow here for SSG, but thorough. That's going to open up some more droning. Down goes Rampy to Young's TCSD-12 in all likelihood, based on the angle. Weird peek there.
Oh, nice.
He'll die to Fultz, who's just waiting on the angle. And that's going to allow for Rampy to be retrieved.
Well, we know how important that kill is going to be for this attack, is taking down the person outside Heaven. We heard in an interview earlier how important that could be to getting control. Obviously, they're not going to rotate around to repel into the Heaven window, but it is an option, I suppose, for them in theory if they can keep control of that side. A little bit late on Maverick tricking here, though. I mean, this is 35 seconds left, and he's just now doing it.
Yeah, I think that they're just trying to get the top of that wall open, maybe, because that's based on based on what we've been seeing, and I think they're getting boosted spots. Rampy's a little bit elevated, as you can see. Young will deny the plant, though, so plant attempt failed there for Canadian. Yeah, you could stand on the couches and get the angle there. Pixel Spot not controlled by SSG, and EG will pressure it. This is running out of time for SSG. The aggression from EG will be punished. One more playing by the bars. One by Pixel Spot. Bars dead. Last one Pixel Spot. and he sees the enemy but can't land the shot, and oh my gosh, Fultz with the reactions, Mo with a huge crucial mistake, and SSG will win yet another round.
Definitely get a little close, a little hairy there, especially these bar attacks tend to be the ones where it can be a little bit dodgy for them, I think. But at the end of the day, you know, they still managed to pull them off. Some great kills. I mean, also the pick onto, I believe it was Necrox, across the way onto the new balcony side, or the heaven balcony side, rather. And then being able to pick up his teammate who didn't die on that, who was able to rotate around behind one of the pillars. That was definitely a big play in terms of setting that up to be favorable trades, because it traded into a down instead of a kill, things like that. They will try bar one more time. Again, this has been some of the kind of one of the better sites, I think, to some extent for EG. Oddly enough, the one site that DZ was completely avoiding earlier. But it still hasn't led to a win yet. Right now, we are barreling towards a 7-0 or 7-1.
Certainly looking like a 7-0, that's for sure. Evil Geniuses have made some pretty crucial mistakes throughout this match, and I mean, in that last round, again, Mo saw the planter, 0-0 almost, like, well, it was 0-0-1 when the planter, well, 0-0-2 really, wherein the plant was stopped, and then it started again, just barely outside of Mo's vision, and at that point it was too late. So, because there's no way that the last player, Fultz, is going to get that diffuser if Mo had downed him. Just so close, yeah, so far.
Yeah, those little things, right?
Little mistakes making for rounds.
Attackers are moving
Now,
to
It is
defuse
weird to
bombs.
see Bosco not playing an operator that brings smoke. He's so often playing the Jackal or the Gridlock and taking advantage of the extra smoke he brings. It's I don't know, it's a little bit change of pace here that we're seeing from him.
In favor of more soft destruction, but I don't know, it's weird. The Sledge and Buck combo, I mean, maybe it's due to the expectation of Castle. That would be my prediction.
I mean, it's been correct to see Castle here right now.
Yeah. And Castle's been really powerful, and the Sledge is the hardest counter to Castle. You can use Ashes, you can use Sophia's, but you run out of those much quicker. Very few people actually run out of Castles.
Good
Sorry.
point.
Very few people actually run out of Sledge, is what I meant to say. It can happen if you're taking from above, but anyway. Damage done there. MVK will be eliminated, actually. I believe that's the player inside of Train. Yeah, it was. As Fultz was on the rappel, holding a cross angle. So thinking not just engaging through that window willy-nilly, he actually had support from Fultz. Now, SSG have control of below. And they can use this to their advantage, what with the soft destruction they have at their disposal.
Well, time is going to start dwindling down a little bit here, but with NBK dead, at least one bit of man advantage. You weren't going to expect him to be fragging out on that but I'm sure Canadian would have something to say about that.
Now, it's known that there's a player by White Stairs here for SSG. That's Modiga. That's definitely not going to be an easy fight for whoever takes it. They've got to be careful with that engagement. They don't need to rush themselves. There's plenty of time here. Pulse is waiting and expecting a push, and he's right. Throughout this entire match, Evil Geniuses have just been pushing random angles and giving away kills. It's not necessarily always Modiga, sometimes it's someone else, but it just keeps happening. And, well, there's another one, and another kill for SSG, lining us up for a 6-0. Young will be put on low HP. With NVK already dead, this is looking very, very desperate. There will be a kill for Spades, but that might be the only one for this round. Necrox rocking a hard place over by Cocktail as he fights for his life against 3 attackers. Their Repel-in is heard, countered. Necrox holding the balcony well. Spades downstairs is dead. Bolts his 3rd kill. Great push there from Necrox. It works out for him. Pivots towards back bar storage. Great aggressive play. It's working out for him, actually. He's got only 1 bullet's worth of HP. He'll die to any single engagement. He wins that next fight, but not the final one. What a nice try for Necrox. Fultz gets his 4K, though, and SSG put it to 6-0.
Just time and time again here, EG managing to find a kill here or there, but they just can't seem to mount a solid defense. I mean, this is really the opposite of what we saw in the first 2 Kafe matches, where it was just defense, defense, defense with an occasional attack round here or there. You know, maybe that's because we didn't see a lot of TS attack rounds because of the side switch thing. But at the end of the day, 6-0 sweep here. I honestly can't see EG having a solid enough attack to foil SSG. I mean, SSG are in the favored position now, and they haven't needed it for 6 straight rounds. What are EG going to do that's really going to break SSG? SSG, honestly, at this point, they need to make mistakes if EG want to catch a round. And they're even going to bring out the Womai on top of the Goyo, something I was saying that I think EG would have benefited from. Canadian's going to do with that 6 pick. I mean, you don't really need Bandit, so I can kind of understand why that's not going to be a real pick, but still, this is looking like it could be a pretty quick match.
It definitely is coming across as such. I'm guessing that this will be the last round based on what we're seeing right now. Across the board for Evil Geniuses, everybody's having a bad time. Spade's least so. He is the shining light today. Nobody going positive. Been a rough one. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. Here's something. There are currently on the defense a total of 5 shields.
Attackers are heading out to defuse the bomb.
That's always helpful.
5 shields is a crazy high number. That's like, that's too many almost.
Yeah, and then there's a decent amount of utility on the attack, but probably realistically not enough with the Womai being brought as well. I mean, you're going to be really dealing with a lot. They've got, 2 sets of grenades, so 4 grenades total, plus the 2 Ash Breach charges. You got about 6 to take care of things. I mean, you've got 5 shields plus Womai and 3 Jaegers.
Yeah, I'd say that there's maybe just not enough soft destruction. They've got 2 sets of nades and the Ash. There should be more. Realistically speaking, there should be more. Most people would bring, like, instead of an IQ or a Habana in this situation, probably a Zofia. And it's weird to say, and you don't want to say it because it doesn't make sense. The lineup from EG makes more sense, but it doesn't make as much sense when you're looking at the shield lineup that SSG is bringing. Obviously, I guess you can't always expect it to be this drastic, but I mean, here we are. It is pretty drastic.
I mean, can you blame SSG, right? Like, if they're going to take full advantage of the position they're in to make sure that they win their 1 defense round. Canadian, though, maybe getting a little overzealous. Does take about half his life in damage. He's running around with that AUG, a little bit of a roam. Usually it's the Womai who plays in the corner there because he can help support himself, stay alive in pixel a little bit longer. And that's why Necrox is able to kill Thinking Nade, who, of course, dies at the beginning of the round again. Really, it should have been Canadian in that spot. He should have been there to be able to continue to throw Womai discs or magnets, whatever you want to call them, to make sure that he could continue to hold that position longer than poor Thinking Nade was able to. Because we know Thinking Nade's not going to be long for this world.
Yeah, we also, yeah, you're right. Thinking he was put in a bad spot. It's a rush from EG, and it works out pretty well, actually. Spade's getting control of Cocktail, but the bounce back from SSG is too strong as EG find themselves with a man disadvantage. Incredible kill there from Bosco. Now it's Evil Geniuses in a 2v3. MVK will get rampy, but he's been downed, so now a 2v1. If MVK can be retrieved, this is definitely be recovered for Evil Geniuses. I'm surprised that Bosco allowed that cross from Necrox, and MVK will be picked up. Still enough time here for EG to mount an attack, and the HP values are very close to each other on both sides. Bosco is going to be the key player for SSG. If he falters or dies on this shield, it will likely be a win for Evil Geniuses. And there it is! Bosco down! All the pressure on Canadian now! He's not in a great spot, and with so little HP, he's unlikely to be winning many of these fights. 20 seconds left. A little bit of a pause. Bosco going to be calling for his teammate. Nice angle there from Canadian. Now it's the 1v1. The mark's coming out. Free fires from both players. Here comes the aggression. It's required from Necrox.
5 seconds remaining.
And it's going to be time? No, Necrox wins it in the end. The suspense was palpable. Evil Genius is able in the end to just barely edge that out, and they will not get 7-0'd.
The excitement from Spades at them winning 1 round so far. Necrox even so humble. We got 1.
It was our 3 points.
Yeah. Oh
boy.
And a desperate play that was. I mean, Canadian was fairly trapped right there. Yes, he could have rotated down. Probably wouldn't have worked. But maybe that would have been the play. If he would have had that pre-open, a lot of players will open or, destroy a lot of that railing to be able to rotate across. If he had done that, in the prep phase, he might have actually been able to just rotate off that either behind Necrox without popping the Goyo shield or just rotate down and just play time at that point. But I did like that Canadian thought to pop the Goyo shield to trap Necrox as well. But yeah, desperate plays. I really liked seeing the snapback from SSG as well. As soon as EG started to get some footing, SSG just immediately crack it back. But at the end of the day, good on EG for winning a round as close as it was.
Packer-sided Kafe. 6-0 incoming for Evil Geniuses. We'll go to a draw.
Yeah, that's true. We have yet to see a single defensive round win.
Yeah. That's a Kafe though, by the way. I don't mean that really. This should be over already, but it's not. We'll go a little bit further. Some good opportunities seized upon there in that last round from Evil Geniuses, I gotta say. Props to them for that. Match point still for SSG. They need but win that one round. They're gonna probably play like it. We'll see if EG can pull off an attack onto a different bomb site. So our destruction-wise, there's only a Habana. It's very limited. Evil Geniuses are going to have to struggle with that. Lots more soft destruction. I think they reacted directly to, well, not more soft destruction, different kinds of just soft destruction. A set of nades for the Zofia.
Drone ready.
More consistent soft destruction, that's for sure.
And slow going here as they just try and get their footing. Can't afford to mess things up. They do spot a player who doesn't end up shooting the drone.
Yeah, he'll just fall back and he'll die before he can get all the way back to site. Necrox will take down what was his teammate at one point, Canadian.
Hey, that wasn't thinking nade, so this is already a good round for EG.
You mean for SSG?
No, for EG, just because when thinking nade died, it didn't seem to make a difference.
Oh, okay, good point. Also take down
does trade back.
Necrox. Yeah.
All right, well, he's
also-
already playing a better doc than NVK was.
Well, MVK did manage to get some kills. Come on.
That's true. I know. I'm just razzing on him. He's fine.
I got you. Yeah, so Fultz with the run out there, he'll equalize. He'll bring it back. The important kill. It's a Valkyrie cam spotted there from MVK. Something spotted, that's for sure. Lots of information being gathered here by the IQ. The top 4 control established for Evil Geniuses is going to be really important. They can now use soft destruction to their advantage on parts of the kitchen. And they'll do just that with the buck. Here it goes. Bosco is going to be trapped in this corner. It's really hard to survive there. Main focus here for SSG is off-site control, though. As you can see by the main lobby and coat check is where they have the majority of their players. They can maintain that, and they can win the round.
Well, important thing is when Canadian dies, he just tends to spend his time IGLing. And I imagine his cameras were already likely up as well. So he's just going to be trying to support his team post-death as much as possible to make sure that they make the smart plays here. But I like all the droning coming out from EG, trying to stop them from being able to have some freedom. There was some rotates out as well. A little bit brave, I think, from Fultz, but not punished at least.
Rampy rotating over to the main lobby. Spade's rotated behind him. NVK will also get Thinking Nade. And this is a tear apart here for Evil Geniuses. They lose a lot of players, but manage to get more for themselves. The attack in the main lobby coming out really successfully. Evil Geniuses now trying to isolate and plant. One gas canister left for Bosco, but a bad throw there means it's not going to stop anything. Mo will shut down Bosco as he attempts to rotate. And Evil Geniuses get their second attacking round. Somebody give, give him 6 points now.
Yeah, they deserve it. This is a hard fight, guys. Give them the bonus. I mean, great plays by EG, though, in terms of managing to catch a lot of the players off guard. They were doing a better job droning, working well as a team, just forming a bit of a net, catching players individually, like Fultz, off on a bit of a roam, as well as catching Canadian early definitely helped, because that was a C4 off the board. Plus, of course, Canadian has been impactful on his roams. So I think that was a great early kill. I think SSG will do a little bit better here on reading, just because I think when they had to defend 3 floors, they got a little bit spread out, and EG were able to capitalize on that. Whereas just defending 2 here, I think potentially they'll have a little bit better time holding this, because we know they can hold the top floor fairly effectively, and they will be in a position to do that, of course, as part of this defense. They aren't going with the Goyo shields, though, this time, but they are going to bring at least 1 from Canadian on this smoke.
Now, reading defense. Yeah, SSG's just trying everything they can. They're rolling around in the sites. They're trying to find something different, something that'll work, because the attack is working really well for Evil Geniuses on pretty much everything right now.
It is weird to see this shift though from earlier of how defender sided it was, and then
Attacker-sided
see the
Kafe.
swap up. Right? It's just weird. I mean, the bands aren't even that different, so it's strange.
Again, this comes back to something I've talked about a number of times actually on this stream, and it's basically sometimes when two teams meet each other, they match up in a certain way with their attack and defense practice that they'll just win one side. And it's the same for both teams. So sometimes they'll win attack, sometimes they'll win defense, but it'll be consistent, right? And usually it's either it's a draw or one team is just slightly better than the other at this thing, and they'll just barely manage to edge it out in the end. And
I guess there's one important difference though, is the Kaed has been banned, and I think that does impact things a little bit. Oh man, that was sloppy with Bosco.
yeah, well, it's sloppy on Bosco. It's also sloppy on Spades. Opportunity missed to get the kill. Bosco's going to answer back with the kill. So damage done to Bosco, and Spades dead.
Never mind then. Well done, Bosco.
Well, I mean, it was sloppy for both of them in terms of positioning for Bosco and in terms of the shots for Spades, but Bosco recovered it much better.
Definitely. So that is going to slow things down here. NBK's looking for the trade on that, hopefully, but as time wears on, Rampy's able to help conflict. Oh, and the whip around. He's got to worry about one more, but that's Modiga down, one of the top fraggers now. And that means no top-down control because of the lack of buck, unless they have some breach charges.
C4 does whiff there for whoever it was downstairs trying to throw it. So it'll be stuck on the rails. Necroc's going to be able to drone himself in, looking for the Jaeger.
Enemy located.
We will find the Jaeger. Shots come from below. That's NVK by pillars. Just below Rampy, I believe.
Rampy's burning a lot of time, though, at least.
Yeah, he is burning a lot of time, that's for sure. EG have not gotten control of the top floor. They have not gotten control of the middle floor. They're just kind of twisting, looking for an opportunity. But it's a slow-going SSG trying to wait this out as long as possible. Very likely to take this on time, at the rate we're going right now.
Thinking he's still alive as well.
Yeah. Young will get Bosco, so it's a good start for EG. On a cross, Canadian will get lit up but not finished off by NVK. That means just one more shotgun and gas canister still in play. Necrox gets Thinking Nate, who is not aware of these angles above him. And suddenly, it's looking actually possible for EG, but it looks like Bolts is going to get a freebie onto NVK, who's attempting to rotate downstairs. That could be the final nail in the coffin. Canadian's on low HP, though, so that is to be considered. Young has Diffuser. He'll need to get towards the site. He's trying to clear Cocktail still, with 30 seconds left. Rampy holding on to this. Full flash, though. No capitalization from Young. No push at all, despite the full flash. And there's the push. He'll get it in the end. In the heads-up gunfight. Bolt's now the real center for SSG's defense. It's easy the last defender with full HP. Bolt's goes down. It's all on Canadian. And he'll die to Young. What a clutch for Evil Geniuses. And we continue this attackers-only stretch.
And, I mean, good for EG in that they actually faced some tough opposition in both Bosco, not only getting a kill, but burning tons of time. And then Rampy also burning a ton of time upstairs. It took them down to, like, 25 seconds left or something before they were finally able to clear him off the top floor. The fact that they won that round with that late of a cocktail clear is surprising. It just maybe came down.
Maybe came down to time? Time was a big factor. In the way that SSG was rotating, they were clearly trying to adjust for the clock that was about to end, and it did cause a lot of picks to go EG's way. Those adjustments were costing SSG for sure. The biggest thing for me is probably the unawareness of the angles. There were many moments where SSG would have an completely exposed player. And despite SSG trying to wait that out, again, it's those late rotations and those exposed players giving away those 3 picks that allowed for EG to clutch that up in the end. At this point, I mean, EG's riding a wave. You know, they've got to be feeling really confident and comfortable with the way they've been playing. So it's going to continue to get more and more desperate as time goes on for Space Station, considering how EG plays. Well, it looks like it'll be a kitchen defense next. SSG will roam upstairs and in the middle floor in an attempt to slow this attack down for as long as possible. Those roamers are super important no matter what site you're on in this map.
I appreciate seeing the Mute Mozzie combo just because the droning from EG actually has been pretty effective. It helped them manage to get a lot of those kills last round. I mean, obviously there were some mistakes made where they just kind of pushed and rotated without droning, like for example, Foltz's kill in Brown Stairs. But they are bringing a Jackal, and so that is going to give some answer to the denial of roam. So I think that's a good idea. I mean, they're not bringing a Nomad or a Gridlock. We saw a lot of Nomad play from SSG, but it really didn't actually amount to much just because Thinking Nade was dead often early. So, see how this works out in the end. But NBK already doing good work with the C7E, taking down Rampy, one of the strong players, and a strong roamer as well. So that's already going to give them a huge leg up. It took, about 45 seconds to almost a minute, but still, definitely worth it.
Top 4 control well established here for EG. Whether they know it or not. Continue
a lot of wood
all the way.
barricades.
Yeah, it's a time-wasting factor. It's quite significant actually in this meta. Each of those barricades takes like about a mag and then also a good chunk of your time. Thinking Nade will get NVK, so the bounce back here for SSG. They have now brought it to even man count. Crocs, though, responds on to Thinking Nade, and Canadian's also been down. This is site control effectively for EG if they can get out of the freezer. The flank from Foltz going on. Bosco, the solo anchor right now. He's got a lot of pressure on him. Canadian's unlikely to be recovered at this point. He's kind of stranded, and there goes Foltz on the roam, putting more pressure on the anchors. The Canadian does get picked up by Bosco as the site pressure is alleviated by Evil Geniuses in order to focus on the flank. Speaking of, here comes something resembling a flank from Spades. He isolates an angle on one of his known enemies. EG successfully into Meat Locker. They have to get out of it. That's the tricky bit. Once they get out of the bottleneck, it becomes easier. Castle spotted there. Or not Castle, rather. Canadian spotted there. And he'll get one before being felled by Modiga. So it's all on Bosco. He's got C4 in hand, though. It is unsuccessful. Good angle onto the window. He can at least cover this. Gotta be very careful, though. It's all about timing of the angles. Nade will miss. Push from the bandit. It's very dangerous. Window's not watched, though, and Diffuser is down. Young on the floor. It's all on Modiga in the 1v1. Bosco's been on fire for this match, and he reads it perfectly. He'll get the 1v2, and SSG will finally take the match.
Impressive attacks, though, from EG, despite the loss there at the end. Bosco maybe just a little bit better, but that's all it came down to. I gotta say, that, we're thinking the whole time that Canadian's not going to get picked back up. He gets picked back up and then immediately gets a kill before being traded finally. So that right there definitely helped Bosco out a little bit on top of, him obviously having great plays. He also was able to creep around a little bit better. That nice 3-speed crouch walk. That's like one of the first bandits we've seen. We don't actually see a ton of bandit anymore, with Kaed and playing things like that. But with Kaed band, I can see why we did get to see it this time. So nicely done.
Gotta bring the right tools for the job, that's for sure. A really good match there from SSG overall. It was looking a little scary for a while, to be honest, with EG making that comeback, but it just didn't happen in the end. Yeah.
I think SSG probably could have closed that out a little bit sooner, but it was really some decent attacks from EG overall. Good droning and teamwork. I would have loved to see that level of teamwork on their defenses. They definitely tried a few times, but it just seemed to get picked apart a lot of the time. Whereas EG on attack definitely looked a lot more coordinated. Obviously, they have a bit more intel because they have drones. It's something they didn't have on defense. Maybe just I saw them trying to bring a bit of extra intel on their defense to try and help with that. They bring bulletproof cameras, they bring Maestro. It didn't seem to be enough for them to really kind of feel like they could control the map, and definitely much more so on attack. So it was good to see, and it was nice to see a contrasting attacker-sided match instead of it being just all defender-sided on Kafe today.
Well, we've got the interview, and it's going to be with a Lycan, so we'll jump right into that. His thoughts on this match. How's it going, Lycan?
Hey, how's it going? Good.
It is just dandy over here. Thank you for asking. A pretty strangely attacker-sided Kafe. Was a little bit of a weird one, but you guys managed to take it in the end. Now, my first question actually does not pertain to the match. I mostly want to take a zoom out a little bit here. You guys, through the second half of the season, have thus far gone completely undefeated, but your last opponent for the season is TSM. Are you gunning for that complete perfect second half? Is that in the plan?
Yeah, like I said before, we weren't really anticipating being able to take first place. Like we have that opportunity now because of their game today. The big thing was like us just trying to play our game and just try to improve as individuals and try to like win online games. You know, like we've had that problem in the past. So with the win today, we actually have made it to the point where we have scored the most points any player on our team has ever made. It was Troy with 27 points before, so now we're at 29, and the rest of us was painfully a lot lower than that. So we're like really excited with where we are as a team.
And you, I guess, in like perfect fashion, again, with your last match being in TSM, if you guys really want to, take that first spot, then, I mean, it really does come down to like the perfect kind of setup where the two top teams get to play each other at the end of the season to figure out who takes first position. That'll be, I'm sure, a really exciting match when we eventually get to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it personally.
Yeah.
So this match, I've talked about this a little bit in the past. For me, it's always kind of been this kind of abstract thing. Sometimes we get teams that match up against each other in a certain way where it's either attacker or defender sided, and sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with the map, strangely. We've got maps that can be more rigid. What do you think it is that caused this to be so attacker sided, where EG even had that like a second wind, I'd say, on the second half?
I don't even know. That's a really hard question, to be honest. I think
me neither, man.
It came down to like some interesting things that they were. I honestly think they played really good on attack in the last round. Obviously, like Bosco was able to clutch up, but I think it was more of like they were doing things that we didn't expect, and then like the communication wasn't on par. Like communication on attack was insane, but it kind of started falling apart a little bit on defense, and they were able to like pick us apart in some places where we didn't expect. So I do want to say like hats off to them for their attacking. It was really good.
All right, so just a case of solid attacks for both teams. I mean, sometimes it pans out like that. So last question, you guys have been looking really solid, and you've been gliding, and you didn't get that punch from, like, sometimes after winning a championship or a season final, teams get a little bit land drunk and then they start to teeter off. What would you say is it that makes you guys maintain your glide? Because again, there's the lack of trip ups since winning the Invitational, to me, has to be the most impressive thing. Is there anything, like, you don't have to tell me your secrets, obviously, but what do you think is like a person or like a certain function that you guys do as a team that has allowed you to be as consistent as you have been?
I think it's just our drive, and I know, like, I don't. First of all, I'm not hitting at any other team's drive. Like, that's not the purpose of this. But there were players that I would jump in their stream and I would hear them making fun of the fact that we were scrimming right after season 10 ended. They were like, "Why aren't they taking a break? Like, what are they doing?" But we knew that we were struggling, and we knew we wanted to switch worlds with Troy, and like we grind. Like, we don't take days off. We, like, even though we won, like, we want to win again. And I guess that's probably most of it. Like I said, I don't really want to take that as like a bad thing to other teams. I think it's just like a big shout out to like how we act as individuals. Like, we're not trying to like take a season off because this season doesn't mean anything. And I'm not going to get into people who say that, but we want to win, and we are going to do everything it takes to win.
Something to aspire to. And thank you for you and your team for setting up those standards for yourself, as others can seek to hit that goal now that they know that it is something that, honestly, like, you've got to go for it. And it's an impressive mentality. Thank you for sharing that with us, Lycan. Well, do you want to say anything to the stream before we end the interview?
Same thing as always. Everyone that's here, thank you so much. The people that stayed to the last game, you guys rock. Any team you support, thank you for being here. Thank you for following Rainbow Six. And the last thing, always, stay home, stay safe.
Always nice talking with you, Lycan. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you too, man. Take care.